Hello, favorite, can you hear me? Hello. Can you hear me, favorite? Hello, favorite, you can unmute your mic. Can you hear me?
What did you say?
Can you hear? Okay, you can hear me. I was asking if you could hear me.
Yes, I can.
Okay. How are you now? Good afternoon. Favorite, how are you? Hello.
Um, I'm fine. I'm fine. Thank you.
Okay. Hope your day is going well. Were you able to do the assignment I gave last week? I think that was last week or 2 weeks ago.
Yes, I did it and I submitted.
Okay. Then there were some videos that I gave our coordinator to share for you guys last week. Last week we didn't have any class because of you're in Gateway now, so because of our apostolic invasion and all that. So were you able to watch the videos?
No, I could not access the video.
Oh, you couldn't access it. Are you serious? What did they say?
I don't know if it's from the browser I used or what, but I tried it and I was not accessing it, so I left it.
Okay. Did you let the coordinator know? Did you send it on the Slack channel? Did you complain on the Slack channel or the WhatsApp group?
No, I did not.
Okay, you should have done that so that they will be able to rectify it because I think maybe the coordinator is supposed to give permission for everyone in graphics to access the video. So I think I will speak to her about it. So that means if you had that issue, I will confirm from others anyways when they come. Let me confirm if it's something generally or maybe it's from the browser you were using. I'll confirm that later. Okay.
Okay.
All right. So while we're waiting for others, I think just two more persons and we'll start. Today is going to be like more or less like a Q&A session. So I want everyone to ask their questions based on what we've learned so far, based on the assignment. So, and even things you might have seen basically outside the class. Maybe are there some questions you have in mind that you want me to clarify or something? So just a Q&A session. I just want us to discuss. We're not learning any new thing today. We'll learn something new tomorrow. But I want to be sure that we've been able to understand the things I've been teaching so far and to also answer your questions if you have any. So that's what I'm going to be doing today. So let me start with you since you are the only one for now. Do you have any questions based on what we've learned so far or anything related to design? Do you have any?
Okay. When I was doing my assignments, because I used the video on a YouTube channel for my assignments,
Okay,
I read through everything.
okay,
And I think it was like a refreshment of what you explained.
okay. Sorry, you said it was what? You read through?
I read through everything.
Okay,
Like as you were saying, I was writing them out. So I read through everything
okay,
and it was like a refreshment to
okay,
what you've explained.
okay. So you understood clearly, you understood everything.
Yes.
Okay. So you don't have any questions, or should I ask you a question? Which one? Choose one. You're laughing.
Okay.
If you don't have question, me, I'll ask you question. You suppose know now. If you don't have question, me, I'll ask you.
I have a question based on a recent design I saw on Instagram, but I'm still looking for a way to put the question.
Put it
But
anyhow. Put it anyhow. Put it anyhow. I'll answer it. I'll do my best. Is it something?
okay, there is this
Okay?
that
You can speak.
hmm? There's this design that Canva girl usually does. You know the Canva girl on Instagram,
There are so many of them. Okay, yes, I think
eh?
I might know this particular person.
That uses yellow mostly in her designs.
Okay.
As in, there's no. Just wait. Let me not put the question and then
Okay.
I'll ask it.
Okay. Okay. Okay, so can I ask you the question, my own question, while I'm waiting for yours?
Um. Okay, can ask.
Okay. So, based on what we have learned so far, we've learned principles of design. We've learned what graphic design is. We even spoke about some design terms. We spoke about okay. We even dived into typography. That's the foundation of design. So my question is, when you want to design a flyer, how many choice of fonts or how many numbers of fonts should you use in a flyer? Should you use more than three fonts, or is it two, or is it five? When you want to do a design, how many choice of fonts should you use? What's the maximum number of fonts you should use in a design? I don't know. That's why I wanted to refresh my memory. I think I've forgotten. So can you remember?
I don't know. Okay. I don't know if I was not in the last classes, the previous
Yeah.
classes, but I think it should be 2 or 3,
Mm, choose
but
one.
not more than that.
Choose one, two or three.
Okay, I think 2, so that when I say so I can rhyme, and the two you're choosing should rhyme, so
Okay.
the design does not become too what's right.
Okay. Okay.
But I think it's just
Okay, just two, right? Okay.
yes.
Okay. You are very correct. You're a pro already. Oh. This one, you've not even started designing and you know what and what to do. Oshé. So,
Thank you.
you're welcome. So, yes, you are very correct. So, I said you shouldn't use more than two fonts. And I said if you are going to use three, the third one should actually just be for an emphasis on a particular thing. You understand? And I gave example of the Young Techies flyer that I designed. So I told you I just made use of two fonts. The first font was just for the headline, which is Young Techies. Then the other fonts which you saw, that's what I just used for the body. Every other thing that was written was just with one font. Then I also made mention that you can also as well use just one font for your entire design, but basically it should be a font family. When I'm talking about font family, I'm talking about fonts that have different weights. For example, let's just say a font that has bold, that has regular, that has thin, that has extra bold, that has heavy. That's what we call different weights in a font family, you understand? So I'm sure you must have seen some designs like that, where one might be bigger, the other one might be slimmer, and all those other things. So you can actually just use one font, but it should be a font family if you want to do a design, or you use two maximum, or three. The third one should just be for emphasis on something small or something, but at best use two. So you're very correct. So Oshé. Okay. Let me ask you another question. Can you mention for me just mention 10 principles of design for me, then explain 3. Very simple. My questions are very simple. Just mention 10 principles of design you know, then explain 3 for me. If you can, try.
Is it line and rest of them?
Me, I don't know. That's why I'm asking now. I want to be sure. It's me that's asking the question.
Let me try to remember.
Yeah, now try to remember.
Okay.
Try.
I think line, shape, form, texture. So. Are these all correct?
I don't know. Finish first and I'll tell you.
No, these are the ones I can remember. Are they correct?
Are you done? Are you done? I want you to be done first.
Yes. Yes.
Okay, you're done. Okay, so those are part of the principles, but you know those things you mentioned now. We'll put them under what we call elements of design. Yes, they are part of the principles, but they are under a particular section we call elements. Why I'm saying elements are because you can't do without these things in your design. You can't do without shapes. You can't do without line. You can't do without texture. You can't do without balance. Remember, balance. You forgot to mention balance. So balance and form. These 5 things. Yes, these 5 things are what we call elements in design. They are under the principles, but I'll state the principles for you. But they are under elements of design. Elements simply saying these are key things you need in your design. And if you look at every design, it has to do with lines, it has to do with shapes, it has to do with, even if some of them might not be there, but at least 4 or 5 of those elements, you always see them in your design. It's very important. So yes, you are, let me say you are indirectly correct. Let me not say correct in quotes. That means you've not gone through our YouTube videos on the previous. I think I dealt on principles of design for 2 weeks. I think our last class and the other previous class I taught on principles of design. I mentioned like 12 or 3 of them. So maybe you can check our YouTube channel to refresh your memory.
Okay.
Those things. So I'll just mention.
Because I've not gone through those ones.
Oh, okay. I know now. You're a smart girl now. So I know that normally you would have answered them for me. So you've already exposed yourself. You've not gone through them. God is watching you. No problem. All right. So I'll mention like few of them. So we have alignment. I'm sure you must have heard some of these names before, Sha. I think the first class we had, I spoke about you guys reading an article on 50 design terms. I don't know if you got that link. You got that link, Abby?
I got it, but I did not finish it because my data got exhausted.
Okay. But you have the link with you, Abby?
Yes.
Okay. So maybe after you could actually go through it. After you can go through it. So among those 50 design terms, some of those design principles were mentioned there, and I'm going to mention it for you. So first of all, I will share my screen. Since I think you are the only one in class today, so you are lucky, Sha. I'm going to share my screen on the design principles I taught. I'll just list them. I'll show. I think I listed them on my slide, so I'll just show it to you so that you could see, and maybe I think I could just explain some of them, since there's practically no one here apart from two of us. So I'll just give you that benefit of actually benefiting something extra today. Okay, so I hope that's fine with you. Just give me some minutes.
Yes, thank you.
You're welcome. Okay, just hold on. Just confirm for me if you can see my screen. Can you see my screen? Can you see my screen?
No.
You can't see my screen. Let me check. How about now? Can you see it?
No, I can't.
Oh, okay, hold on. Let me try it again. Just give me some minutes. Try it again.
No, no.
So I think there was actually a little delay. There was a delay. Let me stop. Let me stop presenting and try it again. Sorry for the delay. I just want to be sure. How about now?
No. Okay, yes, I can see.
You can see it now.
Yes.
Okay, you can see typography anatomy, right?
Yes.
Okay, that's the topic we're supposed to learn today. But let me go back to the design principles. Sorry, I think I'm just having to. Okay, so I think while this is loading, I'll just mention some of the design principles. You can take them down if you have your jotter. Then I'll also advise maybe after today's class, you could go online and also search or research more about them, because they are very, very important. I am actually taking my course. If you can notice, I'm not in a hurry to start teaching you guys how to design with software yet, and because speaking from experience, I've realized that graphic design is very, very interesting and sweet. And if you do not take your time to actually lay a foundation on it, you might get carried away with the use of software, and you start using the software, and you might be very perfect in using the software. But you might still not know how to create good designs. It's one thing to know how to use software. It's one thing to also know how to design. And it's important that when I even started to, I was so carried away. When I went on YouTube, how to use CorelDRAW, how to use this to do this. I didn't even ask myself, okay, what are the foundations of design? What are the principles of design? You know, and it was a big issue for me at some point, because I was doing designs, but those designs were not really good. They were actually wacky designs. But then in my head, that time, it was like, I'm doing one kind of thing, until I now got a mentor, and I now started understanding some certain things. I had to now do research on foundations. I had to get videos. I had to now actually groom myself and know what these things are. And I said, so they're actually what we call foundations and principles. So that's what I also tell my students, both in Young Techies cohorts here and also my students in my Canva community. I tell them, because many of them are always asking, please, how do I learn how to design with this? How do I learn how to design with this software? And my question will always be, how well do you know your design principles? Because if you do not know them, if you don't know them, it will really be challenging for you. But once you have these principles at your fingertips, you will know how to apply them when you start learning how to use software. So that's what I really want to make sure you guys understand. I want to ensure that you guys are grounded in doing this. Sorry, my page is really unresponsive for now. I don't know why it's getting slow, but I think it's network. So let me just be patient while I'm talking. So that's why I'm taking my time to make sure that I ground you guys on the foundations. This might take up to a month or two. I think we're already in a new month. We're in November, right? But I will be very, very happy and glad that you guys understand the foundations first. Even if we might not even if maybe in the next cohort we now learn how to use software, and this first one, you know, the foundations, I'm very, very, very much fulfilled, because when you now go online and you now start learning how to use the software, you see that it will be very sweet, and you will now, all those things that I've been explaining and showing you guys on the slides and all the assignments and all that, they will start clicking together, because you are now grounded with the thing. That's the most important thing. You must have a foundation. It's just like you are in university now. How did you get to university? You started from pre-nursery, from pre-nursery to nursery, from nursery to primary, from primary to secondary. You didn't jump from pre-nursery to secondary. You understand? So those foundations are important. Okay, so you can see my slide on principles, right? Can you? Hello, February, can you see my?
Yeah.
Okay. So, my slide is really, it's really getting slow. I need to show you this today. Show you this today. So, hold on. So sorry for the technical issues, favorites. I apologize. These are our networks sometimes. They like falling our hands.
No problem.
Okay, so you can see some of them, Abby. Can you see the next slide? That is principles of graphic design. Can you see it?
I can see, but it's tiny.
It's tiny, yeah. I'm going to present my screen. I'll present it so that you can see clearly or vividly. I'll present my screen.
Okay.
I'll present it.
Okay, that'll be better.
Yeah. Okay, presenting in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. bigger now. Wow, it's taking longer than expected. Okay, can you see it? Is it bigger now?
Yes. Yes.
Okay, good, good. So these are the principles. Yeah, they are in graphic design. There are 12 principles. I hope I explained all of them here. Okay, so we have hierarchy, we have contrast, we have proportion, we have alignment, we have repetition, we have emphasis, we have pattern, we have white space. We also have balance. I think I spoke about balance. Balance was still under that elements of design I was telling you about, but it's also a principle of design. We have balance. That's 9. I've mentioned 9 of them. 3 more. I think those other ones I'll check them out to confirm, or maybe after the class you can also browse it. But I had to dwell on these particular principles, these particular 8 principles, because these are very vital principles that you should take note in design. So I'm starting with hierarchy. I'm sure you must have seen something like this before, but maybe you didn't know it was hierarchy. So hierarchy simply means knowing what should appear most importantly in your design. It's a way of guiding your audience to understand what they should see first before the next thing. So if you look at this page here now, where we have the good and bad hierarchy design. On the good design, you can see vividly that the title is bigger than the heading, and there's a small write-up under the heading. I think that is what they call subheading. And the essence of that being a good hierarchy is because in your design, first and foremost, what should capture your audience first is the theme or the topic or the name, whatever it is you want them to see first. That's your title. So that's why it should be bigger. Because even looking at it from a far distance, that should be the first thing that should capture my attention in your design, your title. So that's why you see the title is bigger. Then the next thing that comes, that's the medium size, is the heading, whether it's the topic or whatever it is. So let's take, for example, what's your favorite movie favorite? What's your favorite? See me, I'm asking what's your favorite? What's your favorite movie favorite? Let me ask you.
My favorite movie. I don't really have any favorite movie. I just enjoy.
Okay, which one do you enjoy? Which one? Mention one. Blood Sisters.
Is it the Jerry or the Pastor?
Anyone you want to mention, you are free. Which
No,
one?
I've not watched that.
You've not watched Blood Sisters, you should watch it too.
Okay.
It's interesting.
No, I've not. Okay, I enjoyed Candy.
Okay. Which other one? I think I've not watched that one before.
Okay. Have you watched Wedding Party?
Normally now, part 1 and 2. I've watched it.
Okay, I've not watched part 2, but I watched part 1.
Yeah,
and I enjoyed it.
Very interesting. W and all of them. Very interesting. Adesuwa. Okay. So let's use the wedding party poster for example. So the first thing, I just want you to imagine it with me. I wish we could go online to look for the picture now, but because of the way our network is falling our hand, let me now open another tab and it will now be dragging us back. So I want you to just imagine it with me now. Just imagine looking at the poster. The first thing that you are going to see in the poster is what? What is the first thing you will see?
The title of the movie, that's Wedding Party.
Very good. So that's the title. So I'm using this hierarchy stuff now and explaining for us to understand this better. So you see wedding party good. So let's take that title as wedding party good. Then the heading. What do you now think will be the heading on that wedding party movie poster? What will now come next?
The production company or something like that.
No, try again. There's one thing that always comes after the title. There's another thing that always comes after the title. Once you see the name, you will always see something before the production people. What is the next thing?
Okay. The episode on
No. Favorite, no form I am do. Try. I know you know.
I don't to buy CDs now. I used to watch it
It's not
online.
CDs now. Even on Net Niger that we download. Even when you are downloading movies from Net Niger or any place, there's always a movie or a movie poster cover now. There's always a design. Who is watching CD? Me and you, I know they watch CD now. We'll download our movies online. It's either we're watching on Netflix or we're downloading online. So there's always a poster for you to see. Okay, let me help you. Once you see the title, the next thing that comes is the cast. The cast now, that's the names of the actors and yes, now the actors and actresses, that is the cast, the members of the cast or whichever one. That's what you now see next after the title of the design. Do you understand? So I'm using the cast as the heading in this our slide that we're looking at. Do you understand what I'm saying? So because when you are doing a design, you don't want people to see for something like the wedding party. I shouldn't be seeing the cast, the names of the cast first, or it shouldn't be bigger than the actual name of the movie, wedding party. The wedding party should be bigger first, then the cast, that's their names. You see Adesua, Banky W, Shobowale, and all that. Then the next thing that now comes, which is the subheading, you might now see the production, the movie, what again? The movie production company, or maybe you see the actual release, the release dates. Let's say November 2022. You might see something like that as a subheading, or you might now see some other ahead. So I'm just using that as an example to explain to you how hierarchy should be, and you can see how it's coming from step to step, step by step. So from the headline to the subheading to the body, that's what I'm actually talking about. So you understand what hierarchy is now, do you?
Yes.
So after today's class, you can actually start looking at some things and now know how hierarchy is being applied. Look at books around you, look at designs around. It's not only design you should look at though, my dear. Graphic design is not just you focusing on design. It's you actually just exploring life, looking at things all around you, all around your environment, because those are what gives you inspiration. It's not only just looking at designs that gives you inspiration. Doing other things, maybe watching movies, watching cartoons, going out, looking at nature, so many things can give you inspiration in design. So I want you to have it at the back of your mind to always keep your mind open and expose yourself to so many things. I will always tell you, have fun outside just only designing. So you should have a life outside design. Maybe later in our curriculum, there's a part where I'll be discussing with you guys on how to balance life and work. There's a balance between work and life, because if you are just working, and you don't live your life, you don't have a hobby, you don't have things that you do outside that, you might actually get bored at what you're doing, and sometimes you might have what we call creative blocks. But let me not go into that. So that's just what I mean. So that's just it about hierarchy. I know I spent so much time on it, but I'll be very happy that you understood it this way than for us now to be using too much grammar and all those things. So thank God. Watch Wedding Party Part 2 is very, very interesting. And I think they released that movie like 2 or 3 years ago. So it's old. I think 2020 or 2021. I think that's when they released that Part 2. You should watch it. I will not tell you the gist. Go and watch it.
Okay.
All right. Okay, so we're actually it's already 9 minutes past 4. I know our class will end by 4:30. I will, so I'm keeping to time. So let me move to the next principle. So we call it contrast. And like I said, it's only when you now get into the technical things of these names that's when you will know that these are what they mean. I'm sure you have seen something like this. So basically, contrast means the difference between the elements in your design. So let me just tell you how it is. The way I seen this good and bad contrast. A good contrast means if you are using a dark background, you should use a light color for your text or your elements. Elements, remember what I told you, those elements, lines, shapes, textures, form. Yeah. When you are
Yes.
Yes, when if you are using a dark color background, it might not be necessarily black. You might use dark blue or navy blue. You might use ash. All these dark colors. If you are using a dark color for your background, use a light color for your text and your elements. Why? So that people can actually see the message you are passing. They can actually see that text. They can see the elements. If you look at the good contrast here, you can see that the background is black, but the color of the contrast is green. And why is it good? Is because that green color is brighter than the dark background, and I can see it. Both of us, we are seeing it and we are reading it. You can see the contrast written on the good side, Abby. So that's a good contrast. So if you are using a dark background, use a light color for your elements and text. Vice versa, if you are using a light background, use a dark color for your text. Do you understand? If you are using a light background, use a dark color for your text. Louis is joining us and we're almost done. Hello, Louis, you're welcome. You came very early today.
Good afternoon, sir.
Yes, good afternoon, ma. You're welcome, ma. Were you having lectures today?
No, sir. I went out. And I'm just coming back.
You forgot our class. You forgot that there was class today.
No, I didn't forget. I was trying to join, but for some reason.
Okay, I think okay, sorry, I didn't admit you in. I think I was teaching already. So I was okay. So how far now? How are you?
I'm fine, thank you.
Okay, you're welcome. So basically, I was just sharing with Favorite some of the I'm sure maybe you were in this class when I taught the principles of design. Were you in our class then? When I spoke about
Yes, I was.
So this one is not a new thing to you. So I was supposed to take your questions and answers today, but since you guys didn't really come on time, it was only Favorite, and Favorite just had only one question. In fact, she had one question, but she has not still asked me. I'm waiting for her. But I asked her my own questions and she tried to answer it. So maybe we'll shift that till tomorrow. If we are like 3 or 4, I would really want to take you people's questions on what we've learned so far based on the assignments, based on what I've taught you guys, because I want to be sure that you people are following and you people understand what we are doing before we move to the next thing, because it's not enough for me to just, okay, today we're doing this, we'll move to the next topic, we're moving to the next topic, and I'm not actually getting a feedback on knowing if you people understood what we have learned so far, because it's important you people have those things. It's important that we refresh our memories on these things so that we can easily digest them and it will be easier for us to move to the next level. So tomorrow we'll be doing a Q&A session. I've moved that to tomorrow. But today, I think it was even during my question that prompted me to teach this. So I asked Favorite the principles of design, and she said she was not in the class that day. And I said, okay, since she is the only one here, let me use that advantage and also give her that benefit of going back to that class and teaching her those principles. So you are also welcome. You are part of my class already. So you can still go through the slide again. So that's just what I'm showing her before. That's what I was showing her, sorry, before you came in. So you are welcome to join our class again. Okay. Yes. All right.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Okay, so I was discussing on contrast. So I was explaining what contrast is. I don't want to bore you guys with the grammar I've spoken. So this is how contrast is. If you are using a dark background, use a light color for your text and elements. I made mention of the elements of design, and I said these are also principles, but I want you guys to take it today that these are elements, and I'm mentioning them again for the sake of Lewis. The elements of design are your line, your shapes, your texture, your form. Your line, your shape, your texture, and form. These are elements of design. But they are under a section of principles, but take them as your elements. Why am I saying these are elements? Because you can't do without these things in design. If you can even look at my slide, they comprise of these things: lines, shapes. You can see the rectangle curve. You can see the rectangle, curved corner rectangle where my text is and everything. You can see the blue background and the texture added to the background, something like an arrow-like texture added to the background. So you can't do without these elements in design, and that's why I call them elements, because they are needed in design. You use them everywhere in design. So these are the elements of design, and so that's what I mean. So for contrast, dark background, if you are using a dark background, use a light text or a light color for your text and your elements. Vice versa, if you are using a light background, use a dark color for your text. So let's say, for example, your background is yellow. Don't go and use yellow color for your text. Don't use white color for your text. I beg you, it will be too bright. The contrast will be bad, because I'm struggling to see the text because it's white, and my eyes are still struggling because of the light background. So if you are using a light background, use a black color for your text. So for example, if you are using yellow background, use black color for your text or your elements. Hope it's understood, Favorite and Lewis. People will understand me.
Yes, sir. Yes.
All right, good. Okay, so that's it for contrast. I think the previous principle I spoke was hierarchy. So I think, Lewis, you already know what hierarchy is. So I don't think I will dwell on that again. You can also check online. I think I've already dealt on it very well. Okay, so the next principle is proportion. Now, proportion in graphic design basically refers to the size of your elements to one another. So larger elements are easy to see, then the smaller ones are the ones that now comes next. So proportion might be similar to hierarchy, but it's not the same. So it's just basically what should come first should be bigger. The next one should be medium. The other one should be smaller. So I think it's somewhat, like I said, it's similar to the hierarchy principle, but it's not the same thing. So here now, if you can look at this stuff now, they are actually mixing both shapes and text. Now the title is the biggest thing here, so that's normally, I've already explained on that. That's what you want people to see first. Then the next thing, so let's just take those shapes, those small circle shapes there, as maybe it might be text, it might be shape, it might be pattern, whatever it is we're going to call it. But just know that when it comes to the proportion principle, larger elements are the things you want your audience to see first before the next thing that you want to add, whether it's the body or the subheading or whatever it is you want to add. Okay, so that's just what it is for proportion. Okay, let's move to the next one. I want to try to make sure that we are done. Alignment is a very important. Now, many beginner designers miss this a lot, and that's why I said, this one, my people, you people must understand it, even if it's to open people's head and put the thing inside. But I don't need to open people's head because people are smart enough to understand. So alignment is very key in design. We have 4 types of alignment. You can read what it explains, but I'm just going straight to the point. We have the left alignment. You can see it here. This is left. We have the right alignment. You can see my arrow hovering over the stuff, so you can see what I'm talking about. We have the left. We have the right. We have the center. I'm sure people have seen all these things before, both in designs, magazines, storybooks. Then we have the justified alignment. So, depending on how you are positioning your design, if you are aligning all your text to the left, let all your text be at the left. Then your picture and your other shapes and other things, especially images, you put it to the right. Don't put your picture and your text on the same position. So if your text is aligned to the left, carry your picture and move to the right. I'll use again, for example, when I did the Young Techies cohort flyer, if you look at it very well, all text was aligned to where? Who can tell me? Left or right? In our Young Techies design, all left. Louis, left or right?
Left.
Well, why nobody wants to say right? Me, I'm saying right. Did you know it's not right that I put it? Am I not the one that designed it? Is it not right? Or am I wrong? Okay. So you guys are correct. You guys are correct. I think somebody wants to join us, but we're already rounding up the class. So anybody that is coming, I think they will watch the YouTube channel. There's no point. Okay, so it's at the left. The text is at the left. You guys are correct. Thumbs up for you guys. So the text is at the left, while the image is at the right, and it's intentional. That way you are able to now read every detail that is explained in the design, and you can now see the picture relating to that thing. So it's very, very important. Vice versa, if your text is aligned to the right, your picture should be aligned to the left. Very important as well. Then there are some times where you want to put your text at the center. Now, if you are putting your text at the center, your picture now should not either be at the left or at the right. I'm sure you must have seen some designs like that where the text is at the center and maybe the picture is at the left or right, whichever position. You won't see the picture struggling with the text at the center. No, the picture should either be at the left or at the right. Then justify. Justify simply means making sure that your text is like in form of a box-like structure, right? Trying to make sure that both sides are equal. That's what justified means. And my advice, because I know that what we are seeing here, if you look at this justified, there are some spaces here and it's not really cool. Why? Because these are small numbers of text. So I will advise you guys, take this home. Whenever you are going to use the justified, when we start designing, whenever you want to use the justified alignment, you have to make sure that your words are much, or your lines of text are much, or the words in each sentence or in each line, they are much, so that when you apply the justified alignment, you won't have those little gaps that we are seeing there. Do you understand what I'm saying? Or what I'm saying? Sorry. You understand me most time.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Favorite. Louis.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So that's what it is for justified. If you are going to use justified, just ensure that the number of words in your sentence or the number of words in each sentence are much, so that to avoid all those gaps, all those little gaps, they are not really nice. Okay, so that's it for alignment. And the last, I'm not going to finish everything today because our time is already up, but I think I'll just stop from here. I'll stop here. The last repetition, I said the last repetition, the last principle I'll be teaching for today is repetition. So it's like a great way to portray unity in your design. So like it says here, you can use the repetition principle in different elements such as colors, typefaces, shapes, and other graphic elements. Remember, that's why I was talking about elements in design: line, shapes, texture, form. Color self is also part of an element in design, because your design cannot do without color. So please also take note. I forgot to mention that color is also part of elements in design. If you look at the good and bad repetition, you can actually see in the good repetition how colors were properly used. Just two colors, just one shape, but it's so arranged and so organized. You see that the two green circles and the two blue circles, they are properly aligned together and they are properly arranged and repeated, and that's a good repetition. So please take note. Don't have a bad repetition like the one we are seeing there. You see this other one, they are not properly arranged, they all have different colors, and there's even one box, a square set even attached to it. So it's not really nice. And you people have good eyes for design already. I don't need to tell you people that, so you guys understand what I'm talking about. So that's it about repetition. So I know I've not spoken about pattern, I've not spoken about white space, but maybe, like I said, this class has already been taught. It's in our YouTube channel, so you could just go back, rewind yourself, and know the other principles of design. As well, I always advise you can also do more research on it. So if you feel that maybe what I've said is not really enough for you, you can go online, search more about it. That's actually how we learn. You can't just only say, okay, one source is enough for you. Try to also expose and expand your mind to also taking other things relating to it, so you get more information. The more information you get about a particular thing, the more you'll be grounded on that thing. It's very, very important. I myself, I don't just focus on learning from one particular thing. If I learn this from somebody, I check another person and see how this person does his own, and I merge it together, and I get grounded on it. So that's how we learn. Don't just focus on one particular source. Also go online just to make sure that the information explained is the same thing. It might not be verbatim word to word, but at least it should be similar. What this person has explained about repetition, it should be similar with what you saw from another person or heard from another person. So that's very, very key, right? So that is it for our class today. I know we didn't do much, but I hope we gained something today. Okay, thank you so much, guys. So any question? We have like we have 3 minutes, but we can still ask questions. Okay, Louis.
Okay, I'll ask my.
Okay, February, let Louis ask first, then I will get to you. Louis, you can ask.
Okay, so my question is this: there are some, like now in a storybook where the image is put like in between the lines. Is that a bad design?
Is the image, let me ask now, is the image very visible that you are seeing the image with the text behind it?
Yes, very visible, like very large.
And the text is on top of the image?
On top and beneath.
On top and beneath. Okay, so for storybooks, right, that's a kid storybook you're referring to, or are you referring to like the adult books we read? Because I know adult books don't have that. It's only kid storybooks.
Yes, kids story.
Good. Okay, so now for kids, right, first of all, I want to say, when you are doing something like that, when you design whenever you're designing, you should know your target audience and how you want your target audience to understand the message. Now, when it comes to children's designs are different from the way we will interpret designs. Children's designs are always playful and colorful and all that. So especially when we want the children to see the pictures, and we also want them to read what they are seeing, we want them to focus on the two. So this is where contrast comes in. So I'm trying to let you know that I won't say it's completely bad, it's good only when contrast is applied. So if you are having a very bright picture, if that picture is bright, like it has a very colorful background, and all those other things, and the text is black, that means I can read the text even though I'm still seeing the picture, then it's good. But if it now comes to the fact that everything is bright in my eyes, the pictures are bright, the text is also bright. When I'm talking about text being bright, I mean using white color. Maybe white color is being used as the text, and you're actually struggling to read what is on the design, then it's bad. That's bad contrast. It's not good. Do you understand what I mean? So that's why I said that's why, like, when I mentioned the contrast principle when I was explaining to you guys, if you are using a light background, whether it's picture you are using for your background, if it's light, use a dark color for your text so that it can be visible. Now, but like I said, when it comes to the children's storybooks, these are already cartoon animations per se, so it's already on the paper, like it's part of the paper. But if you look also, they also try to make sure that the text, the color of the text is black, so that the children can also read it, and it's bold. They make it bold so that they can also read what is on that text. That's good contrast, because if they make everything bright, it will be very distracting. I don't know if you understand what I mean. So it is good when contrast is applied, but if contrast is not applied, then it's bad. So that's why definitely those people who design those things, they actually give good designers to do that. So I don't think I've actually encountered any kid storybook where with the playful background on the paper, we're still struggling to read it. I don't think I've seen it like that. Or have you seen? Is that what prompted your question? You've not seen any like that, Abby?
Yes.
So I know. So definitely, the designers, they really do a good job on that. Okay. So I hope I answered your question.
Yes, you did. Thank you.
All right, you're welcome. Okay, favorite, you can speak.
I think I'll ask my own question tomorrow. By then, maybe I might have found a better way to do it.
Praise the Lord. So what is the question?
No, tomorrow I'll ask the question, okay?
You want to ask it tomorrow? No problem. I'm here for you. All right, no problem. That's good. Okay, so that's all for today now. Any other questions before I round up?
Okay, sorry to ask this question, but for how long have you been a graphic designer?
For me? Are you talking about me?
For you.
Okay, so
Yes.
okay. So I started designing in 2019. So this is actually my 4th year. But I actually started taking design seriously. Like when I made it a career for me, that was in 2021. So that's last year. So basically 4 years in design, but professionally 2 years. So I think I should say 4 years now. So because my beginnings are also part of those things when I was doing nonsense design. So it's 4 years.
Okay, so what was your biggest challenge in design?
Okay, what are my challenges in design? That is for...
You must have had any challenges. I'm not talking about the
Yes,
basic
now.
one.
Yes, now, definitely. I think I've even explained some of those challenges before. So one of the challenges I had, and that's what I would advise. Do you still have something else to ask me again?
No.
Okay. So one of the challenges I had when I started, and still even in my current listing to also experience some challenges. I think, but that one, I think I'll explain that one. That's also part of the curriculum. I'll explain that one later. But I want to explain to you guys that are beginning the challenges I had when I started, and now it's like an advice. So I'm going to tell you guys to also take note of. So when I started out in design, I did not have. First of all, I didn't take it seriously, self. I just started because I learned Corel Draw in my computer appreciation class, and for 1 month. So the challenge was that I was not grounded on the principles of design. I just had this mindset from where I came from because I learned it for 1 month. And all those things they teach in cyber cafes, they are just teaching you how to design Shell logo, NNPC logo. They'll teach you how to design what they get. They are not actually teaching you the foundations. They are just teaching you how to use the software. So the challenge I had was that when I started out, I was so focused on using the software that I didn't know the basic foundations. So I was limited. I was not exposed to looking at good designs that I could replicate. I didn't know the foundation. So I'll just go on YouTube and go and search for how to do something with Corel Draw and something. I'll just come and replicate. So I didn't, first of all, the challenge was I didn't have a good foundation when I started. Secondly, I didn't have a mentor. It's very important to have a mentor. Your mentor might not also be a physical mentor. You might also have someone online that you watch. I think just like what you mentioned, the Canva girl that you are also looking at, which is good. So you might not even have a physical mentor, but I didn't even have both physical and online. Somebody that I could actually look up to and say, okay, this is the kind of path I want to form for myself. This is the kind of path I'm seeing and I want to follow. I didn't have that when I started way back in 2019, I think. Yes, I did not have that. So it was a challenge for me. So I was limited and I didn't expose myself to good designs because our sight, see, we have gates of the mind, our eyes, our ears, our nose. These are very important gates. What you see, what you hear, what you smell is very important. So because I didn't expose myself to these things, I was limited. I was doing designs at my level that I felt were good, but outside, these were not good designs because I wasn't looking at good designs. I didn't have a mentor to guide me on what to do. I was not even grounded on the foundation. So that was really a challenge for me for 2 good years. 2 good years. So that was 2019 and 2020. And then I was not also practicing because design is a skill set that if you don't consistently practice, you can't get good at it. Now, by practicing, it's not just only designing every day, right? But also improving mentally on design. So even sometimes, even when I don't design for that day, I must make sure that I go online and look at good designs. The essence why I'm doing that is I'm storing in my memory some creative things I've seen. And when time now comes for me to design, I will not now struggle. The stress, I will now go out and start looking for so many things to now. I know that I've already done part of that work. So I've already downloaded some good designs and images in my head. So I know that when I want to design something, the creativity will come out easily for you because you've actually been looking at good designs. So what is my advice for both of you? Get a mentor. You people have smartphones online. There are people who are doing good designs. You people know what is a good design. I don't need to tell you people. You know designs that are good. You know designs that are not good. Follow people who are doing good designs. That's one. Right? And also practice. That's how you actually get perfect at it. The more you practice, the more you are able to also know which tool to use quicker. The more you will be able to achieve those things. Then whenever you are not practicing, just go online and look at Google designs. I'll mention 3 sites for you people, and I think Louis has also liked my page. I think Louis has seen some of my designs. So you see Instagram, you see Pinterest, you see Behance. I don't know if you've heard of Behance, but I want you guys to check on Behance after now. These 3 sites I've mentioned are good for design inspirations. There are so many other design inspirations, but I'm telling you these 3 because I also go through them myself. Pinterest, I'm sure you know Pinterest already. So I just have 1 minute, but I want to answer this question well for you people. So look at these 3 places. If you go on Pinterest, see how because Pinterest has so many things that will distract you. So when you enter Pinterest, on the search bar, just type flyer designs and you will see so many. You will see so many. When you go on Instagram, if you want to now see designs like graphic designers on Instagram, on the search bar, you can type graphic designer or Canva designer or logo designer or flyer design. You will see different accounts. Now, one tip, when you are following those good designers, also check out the designers or the people they are following. That's also how you can also connect to more good designers. When you see a good design from a designer, when you see how they arrange their page and all those things, you will follow them, and every day you keep going to their page. You can turn on your post notification. When they make a new post, you go, you like, you comment. You are feeding yourself. Then another thing too I forgot to mention is community. I didn't surround myself with like minds of designers, because it's very important to surround yourself with people too who also design, because you cannot learn everything alone. That was also another challenge I had, and that's the last thing I'm going to say before we call it a day. So surround yourself with like minds, have a community, and that's why Instagram is there. When you actually, how you can actually build a community is, when you go online, those people that you are following, try as much as you can to leave comments on their pages. Build reports. Your design is good, sir. This is. Always try to engage with them. Do you understand? Also, the people that comment on those people's pages too are also designers. Some may be clients, some are designers. Also go to their pages, look at it, look at what they are doing, try to comment and engage and all those things. Because it's important to also communicate with like minds, that's your fellow designers. Why you communicate with them is simply because that's how actually you network. That's how you can even get your next job or your next gig. That's how you can even know some resources and some tricks and some tips you might not even hear or find online. And it helps you achieve so many things faster. Do you understand? It's very important. Recently now, it's even this year that I started, it's even this year that I joined design communities on WhatsApp, Telegram, and all that. I joined those things through people that I follow online, because some of these people you follow online, they have Telegram groups or WhatsApp group communities of themselves, where if you enter that group, you will see other designers there, people at your level and people higher than you and people even lower than you. So that's why. And how did I get to know those? Is because I was following these people on IG. So from IG, it led me to their Telegram group or their WhatsApp group. Do you understand? So those are the things. Get a mentor, look at good designs, make sure you ground yourself on the foundations, and also network with people. Those are the things I will advise you people now at your level. It's really going to help you. And you will see that you achieve things faster than, you see that you actually achieve things more faster, because why? You've gotten those certain foundations right. And you see that what should take you years to achieve, you see that just in little time you achieve those things. So those are my challenges, and that's my advice too. I want you guys to. Louis, we're already out of time. Oh, our class has ended. What do you want to ask me? You ask me tomorrow. Please, my time is up, so that our social media class can continue. So please, I'm very sorry. Louis, you bring your question tomorrow. I promise you'll be the first person to ask your question tomorrow. I'll give you that room after our class tomorrow. It's a Q&A session tomorrow, so don't worry. You will ask your question tomorrow. Is that fine? Please. All right. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. I really appreciate you guys for coming, even though we're two or we're three. But it was a very nice class. All right. Thank you so much. Have a lovely day. There's no assignment. So my assignment is just go online and like what I've told you people today, go online and explore. Explore and bring your questions tomorrow. All right. Bye.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye. You're welcome.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.